What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Extra Medium Show. Let's get right into it.
Attention, you are now listening to the Extra Medium Show with your hosts, Alex and Corey.
All right, so this week we have a special guest with us today.
Special episode of the Extra Medium Show.
Yeah. We have Corey's brother all the way from down south. A little bit.
Just happened to be in town.
Yeah.
Space enthusiast, which is our topic for the week.
Yeah.
So without further ado, welcome to the Extra Medium Show.
What's up, guys? Appreciate you letting me come by.
Yes, sir. So we're talking about space this week, and you know what space news I saw on Twitter a couple days ago?
What's up?
Our boy Baker saw a UFO.
Baker Mayfield.
What do you think
I
about that?
believe him.
Yeah.
100%. I believe that he thinks he saw a UFO.
Have you ever saw a UFO?
No.
Yes.
Well, yes, because
Yeah.
a UFO is just something in the sky that you don't know what it is.
Wow.
That's how I was gonna put it.
Wow.
So technically, yeah, I've looked up and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" But no, I don't think I've seen aliens flying around in a
did.
flying saucer. When?
100%. When I was like 6.
Explain it. You can't just say that.
So I was home alone. Well, it was me and my sister.
No other witnesses. Go ahead.
She was babysitting me. It was like 12 at night. My parents weren't home. I forget what they were doing.
They left
Watching
you.
T-
Wait. They
My
left
s-
you
my
home
s-
alone at 6.
No, my sister was there.
Oh, okay.
She was babysitting me.
Okay.
It was like 12. Watching TV. All of a sudden, bright light out of nowhere. I go check it. Fucking street is lit up for no reason. I lived in the hood, so there was no street lights. So it was even weirder. All of a sudden, the lights started moving. But it wasn't like a fast movement. It wasn't a slow movement. It was just like a steady movement through houses and shit. And
It was a
just
single light or multiple lights, or like
Just
a
a single light.
spotlight.
spotlight, but it wasn't like a spotlight. It was everywhere. It was like too
Couldn't have
big.
been like a helicopter.
No, it was too big to be a helicopter.
You were 6.
Too big. A helicopter, one, you would have heard it. And two, it would have been just straight down. This was bright everywhere.
Okay.
You were 6?
Yeah.
And then it just disappeared.
Yeah, out of nowhere, just gone.
So at that point, Shaman discovered his sister's LSD stash.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Not far. But,
No,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
believe 100%.
that seems like there would have been more witnesses, though.
You
Right?
lived in the hood, you didn't ask questions, man.
Jesus Christ, you grew up like 4 streets away from me.
All right, but let's not stray. So, outer space movies.
Mm-hmm.
What's the tops?
Recently, well, this century, probably Interstellar. It's got to take the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, Interstellar covers a bunch of different aspects too, because he hits a wormhole
Yeah.
and he's traveling through time, kinda,
Yeah.
and
But I heard somewhere, or I read somewhere, that it's like the most scientifically accurate movie that they could have made. Like, they consulted astrophysicists when they made the movie to make sure that's what not what it is, but what they believe it to be, because they don't know all that stuff,
they believe that he's like behind the bookshelf and stuff.
Right.
It's kind of weird. I mean,
Yeah, but that's what they think it is. I don't know what exactly it's called, but I don't know. When you go into the
Fifth dimension or whatever they call it.
yeah, like when time doesn't become linear, that's like what he was
yeah.
doing, and that's what they think.
Well, he goes on the one planet, and every hour that he's on the planet is like 7 years
Yeah.
or something on Earth.
Yeah. They have in that movie, you hear a tick every 7 or every minute, so you can count how many years pass.
Yeah, they come back to the ship, and the guy's all old. The
Yeah.
guy that their crewmate has been waiting for 20 years, however long it was.
What's happening to Earth in that movie? I can see it happening not very far from here.
Yeah.
Like crops dying and all that
Comes
stuff.
a dust bowl, and
Yeah.
then people refuse to leave.
Yeah.
You can see that happening. The guy's kids are dying, and
Hmm.
he stays there.
I could see it happening within 100 years. You know?
I'm no scientist, so I'm not gonna put a number on it or put a claim out there or anything.
I
but
feel confident about it.
doesn't seem.
What else do you think really? Well, I'll tell you what doesn't. What a lot of scientists think won't happen or know won't happen. Like, I mean, it's top 5 movies of all time, probably top 3 space movies of all time. But we
You're
have
gonna
to
piss
talk.
me off. Go ahead.
We have to talk about Armageddon. We have to do that
Okay.
because everything about it is wrong. But everything about the movie is right.
You cried, didn't you?
It got emotional. I just watched it a couple weeks ago. It was, it just popped up and it called to me to watch it.
Jeez.
Yeah. The whole Aerosmith thing, it really gets me going, you know? But it's...
The most unrealistic scenario.
Yeah, you went from the most scientifically
Well,
accurate movie
we're gonna...
They're like ramping construction vehicles and flying through space in that movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they're just going to land on an asteroid flying through space. Like, I can't see that.
Random drillers out of nowhere went to space.
Yeah,
Like, you can't see that happening ever.
I don't
In
know.
less than 18 days.
Yeah, that's
This is the best crew that you
Yeah.
know that Earth can send is these guys.
When you have Ben Affleck on any team, it's gonna do well.
pulled him right out of the water on the oil rig,
Mm-hmm. But
straight to outer space.
the thing about those kind of movies are like the explosions. Like explosions are never gonna happen in space because there's no oxygen.
Yeah, you're not going to see like fireballs and stuff like that because there's no oxygen.
Probably be a pretty boring movie.
It would. Every space movie would be awfully boring.
No, because there's cool movies with very, like,
limited.
yeah, limited stuff going on in outer space that's still terrifying. The scariest thing about outer space is the nothingness.
nothing.
Yeah,
And nothingness is free. It's when it comes to making a movie.
that's true.
But
That's true.
that to me, that's the scariest part about outer space. It's you could blow up, die, whatever.
But then it's done.
You get shot out, and
Yeah.
you're just drifting into
You're not
nothingness,
decaying, your
and you
body's
can just
something like
slowly
that.
see the light from Earth. Just
That's like what happens in Gravity
yeah,
when
it
his
terrifies me.
George Clooney.
George Clooney gets cut away, but then he comes back, and that confused the shit out of me.
Yeah,
But
I
it's-
didn't care for that. But
You know,
but yeah, that would be the scariest, I think.
but it would
Space
almost
death.
be peaceful. There's nothing
Nah,
you can do.
dude.
There's nothing you can do.
Terrifying.
No,
Take your helmet off.
you'll like explode.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
No, I feel the same way about.
But
skydiving.
if that's what the guy did, if that's what Matthew McConaughey did in Interstellar, then he wouldn't. Because he was just drifting for a while, right?
Yeah, after he went through the horizon, they call
the
it.
event horizon.
Yeah, and he's just drifting. He falls asleep or something, blacks out.
That's another part I don't understand. That he just doesn't have oxygen or anything, and he's just.
Well, because they don't know what happens after the event horizon. Like it's literally unknown what happens. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to.
But how does he
breathe.
get back?
The beings send him back.
See,
The higher
I
power.
mean,
Yeah, that's where you get into the the
Like-
science fiction.
that movie
Yeah,
he should have went through that, and then he's there, and it's over, and that's the movie.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
I don't know. It
I mean,
added
it was cool. He went back. His daughter was old. Blah blah blah. But
I like how it shows the accurate aging because like if it wouldn't have made sense if he came back and she was still like,
well, no, that's the whole point of the
Yeah.
thing is that time isn't linear. So he's been out there for the same amount of time that she's been on Earth, technically to her.
Yeah.
But where he's been, time doesn't exist in the same space.
Would you? Well, I just saw yesterday that the first civilian like space flights happening soon.
I saw they're gonna put a hotel in
Yes, I
outer
saw
space.
that too.
Would you go up?
Hell yeah.
No, I'm not gonna be the first one.
They
I'd
gave
go.
me a free ticket without a doubt.
Damn,
Would
it
you
would be
go?
hard. It would be hard to turn down.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
man.
Now-
You're probably. I mean, you're not coming back. Probably that. Like, to your point, the first trip.
Not
up
coming
there,
back. If nobody comes back, then they're not gonna have a second trip.
I mean,
That's not
they
true.
will.
You
Yeah.
go-
The first
Go out
like
with a
couple of
bang.
Apollo missions, the people died, and they still sent people up to the moon.
But those are astronauts who have been training their whole life to give it to
That's true.
that. That's
Sure,
So-
but I mean, ships have.
it's
went
not. You're not
out
going to
and-
Cancun. It's like
Ships have gone out and haven't come back, and somebody else went out and discovered.
not the
and
first
came-
ship.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the record.
First Carnival cruise. Nobody came back. Then second, they're just like, oh, build another one. People are lining up.
but, yeah,
If it looks cool, why
it's
not?
human spirit.
The Titanic. People got on the ship
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah.
You know,
Time or news traveled slower back then too.
that's true.
People weren't even sure what happened. Newspapers printed that the Titanic made it.
I saw a TikTok today, and it was like weird coincidences in history, and it said the only reason, well, there was a guy who was like the second mate. He decided not to go on the trip with the Titanic, and everyone was like, okay, that's fine. But it turns out he was the only one who had keys to the locker that stored the binoculars for the Titanic. So because he didn't go, they didn't have the binoculars, and they didn't see the iceberg, and then, well,
Man,
yep. But anyways, so you would go to outer space, but on a second trip, third
I don't.
trip.
Even, first of all, it's gonna be like millions.
If you go to outer space, are you going to spacewalk? Like you
yeah,
go
if
scuba
I'm going
diving?
all the
You
way
have to,
there,
You
yeah,
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do untethered?
no,
If I have one of those rocket chairs,
Yeah.
yeah.
no.
I mean, you probably have to pay extra
Yeah. I mean,
Sign a couple
for
waivers.
those features. Yeah.
in theory, if this was all paid for and free or whatever, yeah. Anything I could do, I'd do it.
Would you go if they said you have to go and not come back?
Like, go to and live out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't give. Man,
Shaman wants to move to New Zealand. That's basically outer space right now.
no. It's
Yeah.
see, Shaman has all these unrealistic space movies in his head. That what he thinks outer space is gonna be like.
No, it's just
Not like pooping in a
if
bag
they
and
took
stuff.
volunteers
So
to
you gotta do.
colonize somewhere, I'd volunteer.
Outer space really is scary as shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like there's so much that can go wrong.
we're so small.
Like, it's. What do you think scarier in the grand scheme of things? Scarier that there's other people out there or other things out there, or scarier that it's nothing out there?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I would
This goes
agree.
on forever.
Yeah.
Like you can't even fathom how
Do you think?
nothing it is. And
You
we're
can't-
just a galaxy inside of another galaxy inside of a super cluster inside of a
Yeah. There's a lot of space.
We're pretty much like a
Space. It's
water
void.
atom in
Yeah.
the ocean.
yeah.
Do you think we're like?
It's depressing
Have you
and
se-
kind of inspiring at the same time. So
Gives us something to
like
look
it kind
forward
of makes
to.
you sad that you're insignificant, but at the same time you're like, none of this matters. Like
Have you seen the comparisons between like galaxies and brain neurons and stuff?
no.
Do you believe in that kind of thing? Like, do you think we're in someone's brain? You know?
Are you going down like the computer simulation
Oh
route?
no.
Like
But
that
we can
episode
go
of
down there.
Black Mirror
Yeah,
where they're all in the space
Yeah.
Oh,
space
yeah,
program.
yeah.
That
That's
could be
the
it.
only episode of that I've ever seen.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, you're missing out.
I know. I saw
Hey.
the movie where you can make your own choices. It was
Haven't
alright.
watched it.
It was alright. It was weird, but they're all weird, you know. But I think the simulation kind of makes sense, but you're never ever going to know because the simulation's going to never tell
Sure.
on itself. But I mean, what's stopping us from being a cell and just like another living thing?
I mean,
You
nothing.
know, right?
Nothing.
You don't know. We're never going to know. It could just keep going on and on. But realistically, if you were an astronaut, is your biggest fear just getting tethered away or like untethered and floating?
yeah. Because, I mean, you have the fear of death on Earth.
But what
from
about
any dangerous job that you're doing? It's going to be... But up there, man, just get lost. Nobody's coming to get you.
Yeah, but I still think it'd be like peaceful. I'd be more afraid of like aliens boarding your ship.
No.
Yep.
Nah.
Yep.
At least
Boarding
I would...
us, I'm like, hey.
At least then I would finally have an answer. And then I could go out
Before
like
you
that.
turn inside out.
That's fine. But I knew.
Record it.
Huh?
Record it somehow.
I
Get
think
the
that
message out.
I think it would be more peaceful knowing that there's aliens before I died than just drifting out and dying in outer space. It's getting dark.
Yeah. Well.
So, like, do you get a different experience from watching a space movie in the movie theater? Like, some of these movies, I feel like you need to be...
Like have a giant screen in front of you.
Yeah, with the
like
sound
sound.
the sound system in your face.
Yeah.
I mean...
I would definitely say, well, at least I've got one experience. I did see Gravity in the theaters,
Nice.
in 3D. Which it lends itself a lot because there's a lot of silence in the movie, trying to recreate that silence in space. So it was visually, intense, and the 3D helped. I'll also say that experience of going to the movies was one of the best I've ever had.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow.
And I'll say a buddy and I went. He's kind of a space guy too, so we were excited to go. We go. Got my own popcorn, my own drink. We kept a seat between us. Talked.
You can't share popcorn with another.
No,
man.
and it was nice, in the middle of the movie, you reach down, you get a popcorn. There's not a strange hand there. It was my popcorn the entire time. And, we talked through the previews and we were all excited. Once those lights went down and the movie came on, I did not speak to this man until those lights came back on. And we talked about the movie on the whole ride home. And it was great. So, yeah.
Like
Excellent.
you were fully immersed in the movie.
Sure. And we didn't have to, he wasn't asking me who that person was or anything
Right.
like that. It was just
Right.
two guys enjoying a
Shouldn't be.
movie.
It's movie theater etiquette.
Yeah.
It's good etiquette.
Yep. So
and the seat between is crucial.
It's nice.
It was. The
nice.
theater wasn't packed in the first place, so we weren't putting anybody out or being rude about it. But yeah, kept that space between us, and it was great.
Have you seen that same movie not in 3D?
I have, and the 3D definitely added an entire element. Obviously, I've watched it at home just on a TV, and it's a good movie still. But the 3D was definitely an added element that I
It
enjoyed.
ruined it for you a little bit. You can't watch it again with the same.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But
There's a few movies I've seen like that. A living room TV is not going to do it justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ever went to the movies alone?
Yeah, I did. When do you remember Movie Pass?
I do.
Yeah.
So I got that when it first came out before they had to change their policy.
Yeah, because they were losing money.
Just
crazy.
hemorrhaging money. And I thought that because I could go to a different movie every day of the month and it will refresh. As long as I don't see the same movie, I can see one movie a day. So I did it. And I only saw a couple by myself, but it's like I eat by myself a lot for like lunch and stuff. And sometimes like before pre-COVID, I would go and sit down in the restaurant like
Yeah, you were that weird guy.
yeah. But it's nice. It's like
I eat a lot
do that
too.
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
I've never been
100%
to the
of
movies
time.
by myself. I feel like it's like golfing by yourself. Like it's like
I would do that too. I think it's nice to just not feel like you have to have conversation. Even though like there's people I don't feel necessarily like I have to keep the conversation going the whole time. But it's nice. It's relaxing. The movie thing's cool. Except for there was one time. Now this was when you could go and pick what seat you wanted. So I got to the movie pretty early, and I was sitting there, and then someone literally sat with a seat in between, and then there was a couple, and there was 5 people in the movie theater, and they saw that my seat was taken. So why?
maybe that's where the best acoustic comes off, and they
Come on.
Yeah, the eye line and all that.
Like-
you
Why?
just picked out prime seating, and they're like, I'll sit by a stranger for this view.
I don't know, man. Not me. Would you do that?
No.
No. But that was nice. That was in the same theater with like reclining chairs, so
Nice.
I got to vibe out pretty good. You know, those are always nice.
It's a low level bucket list item for me to go to the movies alone one time. Never done it.
It's nice.
I think I would enjoy
I
it.
think I'm gonna try it once.
It's really
vaccines
nice.
and everything.
I think you should.
Yeah, it's actually really relaxing, especially if there's not a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
And pick a movie that you know other people wouldn't like, so you get that satisfaction too of like, you know, I'm here to enjoy this for myself. Like there it is.
That movie theater popcorn is just different too.
Bro. That
That artificial butter. I don't know what they put in it, but
Pump.
do you do
Look-
the extra pumps?
Well, life hack. Here's what you do: you do some pumps at the top, then you take a straw, put it up in the butter machine, put it down in the popcorn, give it a few pumps. You get butter on the bottom too.
Jesus.
It's a little tip for the
It's next
amateurs
level.
out
That's
there.
it.
Yeah, it'll change it. That's where it's at.
How many years of your life does that take off? Though?
I mean, probably like 20 minutes per pump, but it's worth it.
Okay. It's better than a cigarette or whatever. I don't
I
know what
guess.
that is. Yeah. I recommend doing it. Go out to dinner. Go have like a steak dinner I've never done that, but that's one time I was waiting for something at work and I went to a Denny's and I was eating a meal at Denny's by myself. That was kind of a weird point in my life.
that sounds
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. Like Wendy's is different because it's like fast food.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I eat lunches quite a bit by myself, but
Like having a waitress is kind of.
you can see it on their face.
They're
they,
like-
they feel bad for you.
They bring
kinda-
over two menus, but they only leave one, and they have the other one like waiting to put down.
You're
Yes.
talking about my whole life right now.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Apollo 18? Do you know what that is? Have you seen it?
I have not.
I have.
It's
Go on.
good. It's like so there were only 17 Apollo missions
On record.
on record. What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
And Apollo 18 was a secret mission. Well, it wasn't secret well, yeah, it was because no one knew about it being planned. But
So secret they made a movie about it. Go ahead.
it's a found footage movie too.
Oh, sweet.
They send these 3 astronauts up to the moon to just do normal like sample collection and stuff, and stuff starts going wrong. Turns out the Russians went up and there was a big problem, so they're sent to go see what happened to the Russians, and it's bad. There's basically aliens on the moon, but they look like rocks. So they collect the samples and bring the aliens on board to the landing module.
They're like chameleons where they make themselves look like rocks.
They're
or they
just little,
actually look
They're
rocks?
like crabs.
Crabs, but they like
Their shells
get
are
in
a
your, if they
lot.
get in your skin, they like crawl and stuff. But NASA figures out that they are contaminated, so they're trying to get home, and they're saying you can't come home. So then they're trying to disregard orders, and
blow them out of the sky.
yeah, it doesn't work out for them.
Wow.
It's really cool because the found footage.
So another
It's very creepy.
Yeah.
arm. The whole movie's found footage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Ah.
it's kind of hard to watch at
Yeah.
some points.
I love found footage movies.
Oh, not the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
love them. But
I don't think I'm watching this.
it's good. It's good.
There's only one Apollo movie in my book.
Amen.
13.
Yeah. And probably the most realistic because it actually happened.
All-star cast based
Yeah.
on a true story.
Yeah.
It-
It depends on who's talking about true, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Because we can get into that, but you know.
Let's get into it. What are you trying to say?
There is a chance that the moon landing didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'll say it right then and there.
And this microphone's on. You're saying that
Yes.
to the world. That's your stance.
Did I? No. I didn't say that. I said there is a chance that it didn't happen. It's not that I don't believe that it happened or didn't happen.
Put a
Well-
percentage on that for me.
Huh?
Just to clarify, a percentage chance that it didn't happen.
Of my belief of it happening?
Yes.
Okay.
For the record here.
80-20 that it did,
Ugh.
that it happened.
20% chance that it didn't happen?
Yeah.
No.
I'll say it.
What is your belief?
I think it happened.
Okay.
Then why do you
That-
say
that-
80-20?
That does make me feel better, yeah.
Because, I mean, there's evidence that shows both
They made a-
sides.
You watch the movie. That's all the evidence
It's
you need.
been proven that they landed on it. with scientific fact?
There's scientific fact that it didn't happen. It just depends on what scientific fact you look at.
Can you reference your scientific
Can
fact?
you reference
Yes,
yours?
I can.
Let's reference it.
Same. He has a bibliography over there.
I mean, yeah, I think there's
He wrote a paper.
just if nothing else, it's such a big secret. How could you keep that?
That's one point.
I mean,
When you have
that
people
alone.
when you have people believing that they are landing on the moon.
Okay, but the Russians who we were at or to get to the moon certified that we went to the moon because they were picking up their
They'd be the
broadcast.
first ones to try and discredit that.
Sure. They every step of the way the Russians are beating us to, first
First into
satellite,
outer- yeah.
first man in space, so we just kind of up the ante like, well, fuck it, we're going to the moon and we do it. If we didn't, they would definitely call us out. But they didn't.
If
they
they didn't know.
congratulated us.
If they didn't know. Just ask Stanley Kubrick. No, the evidence for it not happening is from what I've heard, it's the fact that Kennedy said they were landing on the moon before the end of the decade. And when did they land on the moon? In July of 1969. So they were running out
So
of
it's
time.
conspiracy that he was right.
No, it's a conspiracy that they had to make sure he was right.
Maybe they made sure he was right because he was the president of the United States.
But he had been dead for 6 years.
Maybe he was psychic.
It's the American spirit. We got it done.
No,
The guy
The guy
presented a
promised it,
challenge.
yeah.
We rose to the occasion. America.
But you're also in the middle of the Cold War and you don't want to lose that race. So you'll do whatever you have to do to win the race.
Yes.
You
like
know?
put a man on the moon.
Or say you put a man on the moon.
I hear you.
And there's a name, like a specific name for it, but there's a certain radiation belt around Earth, in between Earth and the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that when Chernobyl happened in Russia, they asked to borrow some of the spacesuits from NASA to help with cleanup.
You heard?
I heard it from around. And they said it doesn't help with that kind of radiation, which is less radiation than what they would have gone through to get to the moon. Makes you think. What else have I heard?
Well, if we can at least admit that Apollo 13 and that story definitely happened.
Seems like it happened.
And the movie captured it pretty accurately. That's why it's at the top of my list personally.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
the
we're
number
not-
one space.
I'm not going to discredit it.
It's the number one space movie.
You think so?
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah?
Yeah, Interstellar's up there because it's sweet too. And we're talking space movies, not Star Wars, Star Trek, because that's their
Yeah.
own universe.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. We're talking
It makes you feel
immediate
like,
space around the Earth, basically.
it makes you feel real sad for those guys because all they ever wanted to do was touch the moon, and then
Oh, yeah.
something like that happens. But at least they made it, because they could have very easily not. But I don't know. I would say that's top 3. That, Interstellar, probably, and then
Oh, The Martian was...
The Martian was
Yeah.
pretty good.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even that gets a little. See, I don't know about the realism of it though. Like
yeah.
when he's flying through and she catches him, like.
Yeah,
I mean, it could happen. The chances of it happening, probably.
Yeah, because as soon as he punctured it, all the air would have escaped. He would have imploded.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Donald Glover said that wouldn't happen.
I mean, Neil Tyson, if you follow him on Twitter, he kind of lives to, I guess, ruin things that people love. He kind of takes that role. He spoke very highly of The Martian as far as, scientific accuracy. So I'm sure there's creative liberties taken with pretty much any movie, but I think they nailed a lot of the physics and things in that movie. So
He goes by Neil Tyson.
Yeah.
Neil
Not-
deGrasse Tyson?
Oh,
Neil Tyson?
I didn't know you were so casual.
Yeah, I'm on a different level, I guess, with him. But yeah, he, good follow. but he's kind of a dick like that.
On
so.
the Martian, how big of a dick do you have to be to get woken up and rescued on that planet, and then try and kill the people who come to
That's
rescue you?
Interstellar.
Oh, that is.
Matt Damon was in 2 space movies the
Yeah.
same year.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
That's where all the memes came from.
Yeah.
Like, don't travel with this guy.
Damn.
Yeah.
For a
Well, I'm
second,
an
I
idiot.
was like, "What are you talking about?"
Like he wanted to get rescued. or,
Yeah.
like help. No, yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
He was a dick in
Mixed up,
that
mixed
though.
up.
Yeah, he was.
I just thought Matt Damon in a spacesuit, and then like,
How much anxiety did you get in Interstellar when they're on that ocean planet and you see that wave, bro?
What would you
That's
do? I'd have left the chick.
I
If
mean,
I was,
I went pretty high in my YMCA swim
I
class.
mean, she cost him like 7 years, right?
yeah,
pretty
because
much.
she wouldn't leave the stuff. He's telling her to get back to the ship, and then she falls and gets stuck. Like, really?
Would you have punched her?
I'd have left her. Like, no doubt. I'm like,
Would
I
you
told
have?
you to come back.
Would you have left the guy on the Martian like they did?
If there was no vital signs and I could not find him, yeah, she made the right call, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They believed he was dead.
Would you have voted to go back for him, or would you have went to
Yeah.
Earth?
I didn't went back for him. You had every capability to go back and save him. So you were
Does anybody die after they go back?
no. In The Martian,
Yeah.
no.
Huh.
I've seen that movie way too much.
Would you like travel to Mars? First,
No.
would you?
Yes.
What's the thing called when they sleep? Hypersleep? Would you do that?
Yes.
If it was a real thing and I could be,
Do you age in that?
It slows down your body's aging process because it like almost freezes you, so your
Okay.
cells don't die as fast. From what science fiction movies have said.
I mean, it makes
So,
sense. Would you do it? I'd
Yes.
do it.
probably, yeah.
That's like,
but then you got to think, if you're sleeping and you're not really aging, everybody you know back home is already dead by the time you get there.
Yeah.
fuck them.
Yep,
Just
my
kidding.
point.
No, but that's have you ever seen Passengers?
No.
So I don't remember the ending. I don't think, but basically what
That's
happens?
Don't
They're
you
on.
don't need to
I don't
spoil
need
it
to spoil
anyway,
it.
so go ahead.
They're flying to maybe Mars or a different colony, and they're in these ships of just a whole bunch of people, and they're like transport ships. But these 2 people wake up early, or no, one guy wakes up early, and he gets bored, so he wakes up the other chick, and other stuff happens. But basically, since they woke up early, they're gonna be dead before they land, or very old.
They were very old when they landed, and everybody starts waking up as they approach it.
Was the woman mad?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But she didn't
out.
find out at first. She didn't know at first. She thought she just accidentally woke up. And then she was probably like looking at a log or something, and it was like, wait a sec.
It's a dick move.
Yeah,
Hey, they liked each other.
they grew up
Eventually, if
together.
that's the only other person,
Yeah, you kind of.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a dick move.
Well,
I would have just woke everybody up. Sabotage.
I think the captain was awake at some
the captain
point.
wakes up because what had happened was an rogue asteroid or comet blew through the ship's hull and damaged it. So the computer woke up him because he was a mechanic or some sort. But the computer didn't tell him because he could not get into the captain's quarters or the bridge, right? So he's there, but he can't do anything about it.
So what's the movie about?
Them
Those 2 people,
That sound-
vibing.
It's kind of like
That
a
sounds
lovey-dovey.
horrible.
You know what? I just watched Ad Astra. That's fucking horrible. Have you ever seen that? That's with Brad Pitt. And it's
Never
like
heard of it.
the director
I've heard
wanted
it's
to
like
make
a-
a space movie like Apocalypse Now, and it's just so bad because you know how that's like really like heavy in thought and stuff. Dude, it was so silly.
It made you think.
No,
It was
like
just
not in
bad.
the right way.
Yeah.
It was so, like it touches of an action movie, but I did not like it.
Well, damn. If we're gonna start talking about bad space movies, we might as well get into the countdown.
All right.
Hit it. All right. This week on the IMDb Top 100 Countdown, we watched 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Long movie. What'd you think?
I'm happy I watched it, so I can tell everybody it sucks. Just my opinion. Have you seen it before, Kyle?
I had not seen it. I had heard of it, and I watched it. Recommendation. It was. I won't go as far as saying it sucked, but I was pretty bored.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
For-
very dry.
Nobody speaks for 23 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the
I had to, I
monkeys.
swear I stopped probably 5-10 minutes in to make sure I was watching the right movie when I first started it. It was almost like, all right, so it was ahead of its time as far as like space
Yeah.
film, people making movies about space. It was almost like someone was like, hey, you know how you have all those cool special effects? Why don't you just send me a demo reel of all the special effects you can do and make that shit space themed? Send it over. And dude put 2.5 hours of just cool shots into a movie and sent it and put a little bit of clips in between. That's what I got from it.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people when it first came out, like when they had the first screenings, people were walking out. And it was at like one of the Hollywood theaters where there were other actors. And one of the guys was like, how am I supposed to know what the hell I just watched? And I understand that completely.
Do you understand what happened?
Yes.
Did you have to look it up?
After, yes and no. I was on the right track with what I thought the story was, and then I did look up, some reviews, and just different interpretations and things on the movie itself, and it kind of confirmed what I thought, and then provided a little more insight. I think, again, I don't want to say it sucked. It's regarded as a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's critically accled.
That might have been too harsh.
It was
but-
out of. It was ahead of its time from a
Who am I
special
kidding? That
effects
kinda
standpoint. I think of it as your favorite filmmaker's favorite film. Like, it's very arty, and it's a different style of storytelling. It's not for me. It is
Yeah.
not my favorite film. I was very bored. At one point, I checked to see how much time was actually left, because I just didn't care for it. As far as the story, it's the evolution of man.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
Well, yeah, it starts with the monkeys basically.
Sure.
I mean, I guess it'd be primal man if you monkey whatever. But
Yeah, and I mean
and then they figure out how to use the weapon, and it kills the other monkey. and then-
sure.
And those monoliths are like, when they find each one, the beings that left them, that means the race is supposed to progress.
Yeah,
They've
it's like a checkpoint
Yeah.
for evolution.
Yeah.
At that point. So,
like, that's why when they discovered weapons, or it was there when they discovered weapons to turn from herbivores to carnivores, and then it was on the moon because when humans were able to get enough technology and stuff to make it to the moon, they were ready to travel through space, and then they find the other one. Yeah.
the one on the moon actually beamed its radio signal to the third monolith that was on a moon of Jupiter. So that was the aliens' way of knowing, hey, they found this. It was almost like an alarm bell
Yeah.
for them. We found this on the moon, so obviously we're capable of getting there and finding it. And then they basically give us directions to the next one.
And that's when they go to Jupiter.
Yes. Then that's where it got a little
It gets funky.
gets a little out
They're
there
in that
for
bedroom.
Yeah.
It was essentially the rest of his life, and then he comes back
It's like
as a reborn
yeah.
angel, if you will, to start the next step in humans' evolution. Again, didn't care for it personally.
I didn't get that.
But that
I mean,
was-
I understand now that you say it like that, but
That was the movie. Again,
dude, like the shots would be like, all right, they're going from one place to another, and it would literally be 10 minutes.
Of just classical music playing with them spinning. That's it.
Just 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they would talk, they would have real quiet dialogue. And then 10
Well,
minutes, classical music,
the-
super loud, and alarms going off while they're doing the thing. My wife came down, she didn't know what was going on.
What do you think about the computer? And what
That's
happened
interesting.
with that?
That's the most interesting part of the
agreed.
whole movie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Is it HAL 9000?
HAL
Yes.
9000. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I should probably take back that it sucked, because that was good. But
It reminds me a lot of Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
you said earlier that a simulation would never admit itself, or what did you say?
in theory,
Hal did.
yeah.
He admitted that he was wrong.
Is that the same as a simulation? Like, is artificial intelligence a simulation? I don't.
So
I mean, it's getting
that's
too
above my
too
pay
heavy. We
grade.
need,
Yeah.
need to get a doctor in here,
Yeah.
like at the university level.
When he's like turning him off, he's like turning him back into a kid, right?
Well, he's slowly taking away each memory that he had,
Okay.
and he's saying it like, "What, it hurt? I feel it," or whatever.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But but even that scene, painstakingly long.
Yeah.
Just everything drawn out, and I get it. That's the style, and you're talking about a critically acclaimed director.
Yeah.
Who am I to sit here and say that I don't agree with it? Painstakingly long.
But it's still pretty cool that the person in the movie who has the most emotion is a computer. The character in the movie, what you would say, is probably the computer. Everyone else is more robotic than the robot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even
the kid, when he called his kid, was kind of weird.
Well, what about when he was when they were singing "Happy Birthday" to him, and he was just, blank stare, just.
How cheap is space travel back then, too? He's on the plane by himself.
I don't know. But there was things that were, like, bad, too. Like, all the food they ate was baby food kind of stuff.
So that's interesting.
Is that bad?
Well, I don't know.
Well, it was, again, from a little bit of reading after watching it, that was a metaphor for man's place in space. And you see earlier when they're at the moon, it's baby food. They're learning to walk. Again, in the zero gravity. There was even instructions on how to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But later, when they're going to Jupiter, they're actually eating solid food in those sandwiches, and it kind of shows the progression. So, like I said, it was a very boring movie for me. I was bored. But after, reading a little bit more and kind of picking up on some of that stuff that, quite frankly, I just don't have the skill set to see. I'm not artistic enough to notice that type of thing sometimes the first time through. It deserves a little more credit than I gave it, as soon as those credits hit, and I was just
I guess I was just going off my
that sigh of
initial
relief,
reaction. Was just like, what did I just watch?
Yeah. So what are you going to rate it?
Considering the...
You have to... I feel like you have to factor in the respect of it that it deserves.
Just because people respect it, it makes it a good movie?
I think as a movie, it's a good movie. It's just not a movie that we're used to watching. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the same, not layout, but just feeling that the arcs and stuff that most movies have,
Yeah. I'll give it a 5.8.
Okay. What about you?
Just because it was cool to look at.
Yeah.
If you want to have an acid trip, you could watch the movie and it'd be sweet.
Sure. I mean, I'll say a 6. And a lot of that is just based on, first of all, admitting that there's a lot that I didn't pick up on, and I may even watch it again. And if you ask me after that, I may say, a 10. But for right now, it was a 6. But I am glad I watched it, and I think it's a classic movie.
Yeah.
That glad I've got it under my belt now.
I'm gonna go stick around, you guys. 5.7.
Be a leader.
I'm not gonna. I'm comfortable with where I'm at.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I mean, people are probably gonna be angry.
Yeah.
If they, I mean.
I don't know if there's gonna be, if you either hate it or you love it. It's just like what you said. You have to. I don't know. It's a lot.
Art is subjective. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah. Like, it's not going to be, don't go into it thinking it's going to be a blockbuster space travel movie.
That's kind of what I was expecting, and it was just...
Yeah. Would you watch it again?
No.
I'll probably try to watch it again. Like I said, I want to give it its due.
The scene with the alarm. I will never do that ever again.
Yeah. One and done. But that's all right. Some movies are like that. But you know what that means.
What's that?
We're on to our next segment.
Did you actually watch anything good?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you watch?
It's an older movie called The Last Castle with Robert Redford. Let me make sure that's what it's called.
The Last Castle with Robert Redford.
Yep.
What year?
It was released in 2001.
Oh, okay.
So
Man,
basically,
like super
no,
old.
no,
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 2001.
no.
Jesus.
I mean, I was 5.
Good.
But basically what it is he's a general in the army, and he disobeys orders, so he gets sent to a military prison, and the commandant, he's like a colonel or something, is George Costanza.
Jason Alexander.
Yeah. And he is a terrible warden, or whatever you want to call him, and basically Robert Redford is trying to act like just a normal prisoner, but obviously he's a general. But when you're a prisoner, you have no rank.
Does he? Sorry to go back. Does he disobey orders for like a moral reason?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a difference. He's not just a
No.
unpatriotic.
He's a genuinely good man.
Okay.
And he keeps watching all these guards like treat the prisoners like shit and stuff like that. And eventually, the prisoners decide to revolt. And it's a whole huge couple scenes of, fighting on the yard and stuff. And one of his friends is a helicopter pilot who got sent to prison. They steal a helicopter. He starts flying it, and it's really good. Not a great ending for if you want happy endings, but
Not all movies can have happy endings, though.
No, I mean it's
some of the best have bad endings.
It's like
sad endings.
It's a mixed emotions. It's happy for some people, sad for some people, but it's good. There's like a guy who he's maybe a little bit he doesn't pick stuff up as quick as a normal person would, maybe, and he like basically acts like the general's son, but stuff happens, and it's good. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Redford's a great actor, but it's fun. It's nice to see
good action or no?
Yeah, especially the last fight scene. Yeah, it's a lot like the film style of like The Rock and stuff. Like
Okay.
a lot of heavy rain scenes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that time.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
What about you?
You watch anything?
I did. This week, actually, I had a overnight stay for work, and for some reason, watching a movie in a hotel room it hits different.
Yeah.
And you love it. So
No.
I'm flipping through. Limitless was on.
Okay.
2010, 2011.
Bradley Cooper?
Yes, sir. Love that movie. And it had been a while since I'd seen it, so caught the whole thing. Everybody's seen it, I
Yeah,
assume?
I've seen
Yeah.
The whole NZT and expanding your mind and all of that. Did you know that they had a spin-off TV series?
it. Yes.
Yeah, it's on Netflix right
Yep.
now.
I did not.
Watching the movie inspired me to go rewatch this series. I'd seen it once, enjoyed it a little bit, but now I watch the movie, so as soon as I get back home, probably going to be rewatching the series. But yeah, I love the whole idea of it. The whole, we're not utilizing our entire brain. I think the whole only using 10% is a myth, but I do think there is something to only using a certain percentage of our capabilities, and that movie explores that. So
I could get
Doesn't-
behind that.
Doesn't it open up something different for everybody though? Depending on who you are.
Well, it depends on your experiences, I think.
If you're already smart, it's gonna make you smarter.
Sure, like you'll
You're
have
autistic.
essentially perfect memory recall. So there's a scene in the movie where he is referencing this book, and it turned out he had just seen the book on a girl's bookshelf one night when he was over at her house. He didn't but when he needed to, he immediately remembered that memory. And so just imagine if everything you've experienced you can pull from.
Yeah.
Could be good at whatever you wanted.
Correct.
Just have to.
And throughout the movie, he's like learning different languages almost suddenly,
Yeah.
But it's great. And the spinoff is actually tied to it. Bradley Cooper makes a cameo early on in the series, like kind of showing you who's
the guy
of the series.
Yeah.
His name escapes me. I looked it up earlier. I don't think he's really been in much.
That's good sometimes. Though.
It is. I know he had an arc in Shameless. He was one of the boyfriends in Shameless. But other than that,
Jake McDormand.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I didn't recognize him from anything but his arc on Shameless. But yeah, he's good in the show. But I like the fact that Bradley Cooper makes that cameo to kind of connect the two.
Yeah. Limitless is what they watch on the Gettysburg episode.
The Office.
Of The Office, right?
Yeah, they all chant it. Limitless.
Would you watch it again?
What do you say he has on the way back?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And like I said, being in the hotel room, that changes
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
I've got my chips, I've got my drink.
Yeah.
I'm laid back in a big king-size bed, so it was a good experience.
Yeah.
What about you?
I watched another movie that I don't know how I feel about.
What's
I
that?
was disappointed. I feel like I need to watch something that's great. But I watched The Beach Bum with Matthew McConaughey.
I've never heard of that.
It came out in 2019, so not too long ago. Snoop Dogg is in it.
Okay.
Let's see, Zac Efron, Martin Lawrence, Jimmy Buffett.
A lot of good names.
Yeah. But nothing really happens. Like, stuff happens, but it's just at the end of the movie, I was just like, what was the point of this movie? It follows Matthew McConaughey, who is married to a woman who's a billionaire.
Okay.
And he just she lives in this mansion. He basically just lives as a beach bum, like going bar to bar, dive bars, partying. And he only comes home every once in a while. They have a daughter. His wife's with Snoop Dogg part-time. And basically something happens and she dies.
Okay.
And she gives half the money to her daughter and tells him he's a writer, so everybody knows him, and tells him that he has to publish his book before he gets any money. So they kick him out of his house. He's actually a bum.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the ending pissed me off so bad. I'm not gonna spoil it because it's a new movie. But at the end of the movie, I was just like, why? It was just nothingness.
But did the title lie?
No.
See?
I mean, it's basically the life of a beach bum.
Yeah. That's
But
still a pretty good life, right?
I was pretty disappointed when I turned the movie off. I was just kind of like, yeah. I mean, I guess I couldn't live the beach bum life.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know. Listen to Margaritaville all the time.
yeah. I mean, he was a good time. Everybody loved him, and
I could do it. I know some people that could
yeah, but
do
he's
it
like
too.
sleeping on benches and stuff. Like,
Hey, I mean,
he's
what beach is he at? Like in Florida?
yeah, the Keys.
Mm.
Yeah, he's yeah.
I could sleep on a bench a few nights in the Keys.
Yeah, like and everybody like he's not paying for a drink, type dude.
Okay.
Like,
But he has to pay for a hotel room. Like somebody can't put him up. That popular, and he's sleeping on benches.
he just passes out. Like,
Oh, okay.
he's just like
It's a
partying.
It's
Like,
a little different.
he just
I could
parties.
pass out on a bench.
Yeah, he just parties. Like, he has a little boat he drives around, like a little shitty boat. Like,
That's the life, man.
it's wild. But I mean, I would recommend it if you like Matthew McConaughey. It's a lot of
It sounds like a Matthew McConaughey.
it's a lot of Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah.
All right. All right.
Other than that, no.
I want to go back to the original segment.
Okay.
One last thing, and ask you this: what do you think our crew positions would be if us four?
Do I have to say it?
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at me. I'm the captain.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I would say I'm the navigator.
I have a feeling you've thought about this, so I want to hear.
No, I mean,
I mean, what other? I guess what are? We've got captain, we've got navigator. What other spots are there besides like general
Seaman.
crew?
I could be. We haven't ruled out that I'm not the captain. I mean, we've kind of ruled
Cabin
out that.
boy.
You know, I'll let you guys decide that.
I don't know.
go ahead.
Somebody has to be cabin boy.
There's a
No. No.
state your case for captain.
What if I don't want to be captain? I'll be co-captain,
That's why I'm the captain.
co-pilot. I'll be like the. I'll be the ship's doctor. I could do
Zero medical experience.
I'm telling you, I actually have quite a bit.
Don't you know how to do a splint?
I was a Boy Scout. You remember that?
Who's our spokesman if we come across
captain.
aliens?
That's the captain's job.
I mean, okay.
I think so. Yeah.
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 Okay. I can handle that.
What's your opening line?
Assuming they speak English.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Well, I'm asking. This is a democracy kind of on the ship too. So are we a peaceful?
okay.
Are we a peaceful organization? So I'm not.
We're pirates.
So I say we come in peace, and then you guys come up behind them. Pop, pop, pop.
Give
Take
me a
over the alien ship.
rat-a-tat.
Yeah.
I like it.
You've seen Mars Attacks, right?
Yeah, we get
Yeah,
wiped
it
out.
doesn't work.
No, if we come across aliens, we're getting smacked.
Who are you giving up to the aliens if they say we need a tribute? Captain.
We give up the captain.
No, I'm asking the captain.
Oh, out of us three,
Well, there's four
I
of
mean,
us.
don't even look over here. I mean,
the new guy probably.
that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, on that note,
Or
no.
then we just have you guys would have to fight. First one to get knocked out.
Shaman has a lot of head injuries, so I think he's the first to go.
Bro, head injuries make you stronger, man.
It's something.
Heals back stronger.
Okay. All right. On that note, I think that's gonna do it. All right.
Yeah, we appreciate if you guys would give us a follow on Instagram at the Extra Medium Show. Drop a comment, suggestions for future episodes. We appreciate you listening. We'll catch you next time.